And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 166th episode of HEX Therapy Live. I'm your host, Maddie ALLin, and I've got a great show for you tonight. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, share this out, hit the like button on Twitter. We're going to be talking about how the God Whale has donated funds to be used to verify people on Twitter in a way that could reduce imposters on X, on Twitter, and could also lead to some of the top accounts out there that are already volunteering for free to create content like this content about their favorite crypto, HEX, and Pulse Chain, that these posts that people are already making organically, that they could get a 2x boost in how many eyes see them and how many people are engaging with these posts. So Twitter is the center of the financial information world these days, and HEX has always been at the top of the cryptos in terms of the community, the engagement, and everything. And so I can tell everybody's super excited about this, this milestone and this support that we're getting, and just really excited about it. So I'm going to run the intro. You're in the right place. Welcome to HEX Therapy Live.
Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like he helps heal people.
All right. So welcome to everybody who's here live and people watching on the replay. Appreciate you all. We're live. That's right. So got a couple of stories for tonight. The top story here is this news that just came out in the past day or two of the God Whale supporting the HEX conference verified organization badges on Twitter. This is a way that we can get the HEX conference logo out there into the world to be seen by lots of people. And, but more importantly, to have it so that people are verified. When I looked at KDP's account, she had 19 imposters, people who had copied her account. It seems like it's a big problem in social media these days, especially on Twitter. And so that's why I thought it was so important to work on this initiative. Is because we've known this has been a problem for a long time. And in this case, I was asking whether the real God Whale, whether they would want to step up and donate, because that wasn't required. You know, this is a decentralized community, and we all just come up with our own ideas. My idea was to pitch this idea of getting people to donate, and sure enough, the real God Whale really came through. So I can say on behalf of like everybody who's out there trying to be honest in the crypto space and who's trying to build our followings on X, thank you so much to the real God Whale for helping to make this program possible. I think it's really exciting. We're making history here. The HEX community always does things first, and Johnny Chaos says that a lot. He's even made a list of all the things that the HEX community has done first. And in this case, that list has included using decentralized exchange technology and making that popular, encouraging people to hold their own keys, like using a smart contract and launching something that's a final product right? All these things, you can go down the list. Having on-chain proof that the founder has never sold, or that the creator of the tokens has never sold, right? There's all these things, using AI translation technology in the conference, right? And more of that should be coming out as we continue to go along in time and find the right AI tools to pick out and translate into the right languages. There are so many cool things that this community does. Now you can add to the list that people are making it possible for us to give this 2x boost to some of the top accounts in the community that have all participated in the HEX conference or the Pulse Chain conference before. I mean, the conferences have been participated in by pretty much everybody who has started a channel or is posting regularly. In the past, it's been an open invitation, and I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that that there hasn't been gatekeeping, really. If somebody wants to come on the conference and just like curse the whole time, yeah, there are platform rules that need to be played by. But in terms of like including anybody who wants to be included, the HEX conference and Pulse Chain conference, they've always done a great job. So that's really historic. And then having whales pitching in, I mean, without, we don't have any VC insider scum. In HEX, we have a way to know how true a whale is, and it's called T-share count. And I can tell you by looking at the blockchain that the real God whale is an OG in Ethereum, right? Is an Ethereum Genesis whale, and somebody who has about roughly, I think, the same number of T-shares as the origin address. And we know that these are separate people, that the real God whale is not Richard. He's said that multiple times. And there are other clues on chain that suggest that these are separate people. So the real God whale has proven that he's not like the whales in other coins where they're just waiting to dump on you. The real God whale has 1 million T-shares. And that's proving on chain that you're committed to something over time. So everything in HEX, you can go down the list. Everything is better. And we're continuing to invent ways to show the world how much better crypto can be, right? So I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of our community. I'm proud of our whales. I'm proud of, the content creators, right? Most communities have content creators that are paid shills. We don't have that in HEX and Pulse Chain. It's like most cryptos have all of their volume on centralized exchanges. We don't have that in HEX and Pulse Chain. So it's true DeFi. And we're going into this bull market here, it seems. And the world's going to get to see, right? Because Twitter isn't gatekeeping us. That's also historic. Twitter isn't gatekeeping us right now because they've published what are the rules for crypto communities. What are the rules for crypto advertising? Now, we don't do a lot of advertising, right? Because we have so much organic reach already. And that's where the HEX conference badges come in as well, because it's giving a 2x boost to organic posts, which is incredible. I believe it also comes for a limited time. Twitter is giving us some actual credits for real advertising. And so that's another reason why why it's so great that they've published the rules. I mean, for the majority of crypto's history, the major platforms like Google and Facebook, they've limited crypto's advertising. They've banned everything. Instead of making sensible rules, instead of separating the scammers from the real accounts, they didn't want to do crypto any favors. But Elon Musk, Twitter, aka X, right? They are creating history, and so are we. So that's why it's such a big deal, right? It's a really big deal to get this kind of exposure and to have the world is changing where where organic communities can be formed. Part of the reason HEX is such an organic community, even though the coin went down 99%, right? Part of that is it went up so high, but then it came back down, and everybody didn't quit. They were earning trustless yield. They sacrificed, and it got airdropped so much value. They got airdropped Hedron. They got airdropped all kinds of coins. They got airdropped Pulse and PulseX. There have been opportunities around every corner that the chart of down 99% or down 90%, it doesn't tell you. So people are going to be surprised when they learn the truth. But right now, people are surprised. Why didn't the HEX community go away? Why didn't it fall apart like every other thing that came down so much, right? I mean, there have only been 7 coins that went up so much as HEX. And, but typically if you measure based on how far down something goes, cryptos that go down 99% don't recover. HEX has already started to show signs of recovering. But the community, that is what's confusing everybody on the outside. Everybody on the outside is confused because they've never tried time locking for themselves, right? It's a different experience to pay your future self than anything else. And I can attest to this, that, a lot of people, they learned from Richard. They thought his ideas were interesting, but they didn't give it a try. They didn't actually time lock their funds using HEX, right? But those of us who did might have gotten more out of it than just trustless yield. We got community. We got a relationship with our future selves. And that's never existed before in this financial sense. If you lock up your money in a bank, you can always get it out, right? The judge can say the money goes here, the money goes there. And it actually, because you have middlemen holding your money, that's the end of the story, right? So having this type of autonomy with money, freedom to transact, freedom to move the money. In HEX, here's a huge group of people who are doing just that. They're doing a healthy behavior of saving for the future. And in some cases, we're creating the community in the world that we want to live in, that we aspire to, right? So this is all part of that. This is all proof. The Godwill sending 27 Ethereum to support 100 HEX conference badges, where, and I guess I explained it last week as well on HEX Therapy, like how this system works, how we're playing by the rules of Twitter, right? Because I don't represent HEX. I represent HEX Conference, hexconference.com. And Twitter allows for an educational conference to verify people because they don't want the job of verifying people. They have as good of a system as they can get so far with the blue badges, the check marks, that they democratized and opened up for people who want to pay $18 a month. But scammers are still getting those blue check marks because they're so common. And it helps filter out some of the bad actors, but still people's accounts get hacked or whatever. The scammers pay $18 a month, whatever it is, especially when they're trying to scam people out of crypto, because it can be so lucrative to do so, unfortunately. And so again, I think it's a really big deal that now there's this method. It's not going to be for everybody to be paying $600 a year, which is like $50 a month. So it's about 3 or 4 times as much as your normal Twitter membership, basically. The blue check mark, right? To have a verified organization badge there costs the organization, in this case, hexconference.com, $600 a year. And so being able to play by the rules and have a strong definition of what constitutes the organization, because these people who I'm verifying, they do not work for Hex Conference, but they meet the definition of being associated, right? Because they've participated now for up to 4 years. We've done 4 annual Hex conferences. We're getting ready, in about the next 4 to 6 months, we'll have the 3rd annual pulsechainconference.com. And so there's this group of people that are affiliated legitimately with a business, which is, the hexconference.com business. And so it's the perfect situation to be in, where we get all the benefits of being a decentralized community. And at the same time, we can verify who's a fake account and who's not, right? That, I think, is the biggest point of this. And I'm glad now that we're going to be able to add 100 people. I'm really glad that it'll be such a critical mass, because I don't want this to be seen as golden handcuffs. I don't want it to be seen as me signaling like who's doing right or wrong in their own content creation, right? This is, so far, all the 14 people who have paid $600 a year to be a part of, to get their badge paid for, right? Because they already qualified as part of the Hex Conference organization, as being affiliated, and then they paid their own way. That's who has the badges so far, right? And I put up a lot more money than $600 a year to get everything going. So that's the idea here, is that this is not so much the point of social signaling, like one content creator is better than another. It's something where we're trying to point out who the real account is, compared to all the copycats that are going to try to DM you and steal all your money. And all your onboards, everybody that you try to help become financially free and get the benefits of crypto, they are, if they're learning from this great community of content creators, they might come across a fake account as well. So it's so important to have the imposter protection. It's not going to be 100%, right? But I mean, part of the real Godwill's origin story is being impersonated by a parody account that, and that's why the real Godwill did an on-chain transaction to Funding Jim, a prominent member of the Hex community who was known, and verified themselves that way. So this is, you can see how the story is writing itself, where now the real Godwill is going down even more in history as wanting to verify and save the community from scammers, imposters, people who are trying to mess up a good thing, right? So the Hex badge you see, it's meant to show you this is the real KDP crypto. This is the real Maddie ALLin, right? Not to say that everything Maddie tweets or KDP tweets or anybody, like, not to say that is, like the beliefs of the organization, right? The whole point of a conference is to bring together people who are playing by the rules and have something to say interesting, right? So, and that's what we've done. So really cool there. If you go to hexbadge.com, you can see what the rules are. I pointed out and linked to all the policies of Twitter, which you have to follow if you want a badge. If you don't follow the rules, then the badge gets taken away so that Twitter doesn't take away the entire organization system. So that's important to know. And then I also added a couple rules about no discrimination and no online bullying. So, and it works the same way. It works the same way as Twitter is working it, where if I was not a legitimate organization and I applied and paid $1,000 a month, then they could just keep the $1,000 that I've given them. Or, if I pay yearly, they could just keep all that money because they don't want people gaming the system and because there's such a high cost to running these things. And so in this case, like if you are getting a badge and then you're breaking the rules of Twitter, you're what are the most common ways to break the rules of Twitter? I mean, if you threaten to harm somebody in the real world, Twitter has rules against that. They'll suspend your account probably faster than I can. But all the only thing that the HEX conference can do is to take away your badge, really, if you're breaking the rules so that you don't mess it up for everybody else, right? Because the whole point is to stop scammers and to get twice as many views on all the content, right? So it's, I put in the blog post, hexconference or hexbadge.com, I put in there, this is not to tell you, like you can tweet about any cryptos you want to tweet about, right? If you're being paid to tweet about, which very few are in the HEX community, nobody's being paid by the founder of HEX, to my knowledge, to post about HEX. But if people are shilling other coins, Twitter requires you to disclose that. You can put hashtag ad is probably like the best way to save space or something. But so, I mean, as long as you're not breaking any laws and rules of the platform, then the badge program, it's going to be a success. Right. So very, very exciting. And so then what a lot of people have been asking is like, okay, there's 100 people now whose badges, there's been a funding, there's been a donation made so that the organization can verify 100 of its members. And so the question is who gets to be one of the 100? And I would say that I don't have the final answer for that right now. It's something I've already started working on, coming out with a system that at least I feel myself and I can stand by. It's fair. And so far, what I've seen, kind of the variables I'm cross-tabulating here is whether somebody is followed by the Godwell who donated the funds, right? So there's only 56 people followed by the Godwell, and not all of those people have spoken at a HEX conference, so they aren't a part of the organization. They aren't affiliated in any way, and so it'd be breaking the Twitter rules to affiliate somebody who's not affiliated, because these badges, they're not for sale. The idea is if you're affiliated, then you could pay your way, or somebody else could pay your way. So that kind of, so that creates a sub list of people who are followed by Godwell and have spoken at a HEX conference or a Pulse Chain conference that I've put on before. And then another thing that we could look at is how many conferences people spoke at. Because as I said before, there have been 4 annual HEX conferences, and there have been 2, almost 3 now, pulsechainconference.com events. So, and then there might be individuals who kind of stand out as not, like, the organization is not willing to take their money. Like, let's say Richard Hart. I will never take money from him for legal reasons, right? So in that case, that would be kind of a special category where this would be, that's an easy allocation there, and he's participated in lots of these conferences, right? So if he wants one, I'll try to get him the word about that. Another way that this might make the most sense is if people, to kind of narrow down it's been before this most recent conference, we had 170 people who had spoken at the conferences before. And I have an image that shows exactly everybody in the conference that they were speaking about. So you guys have seen that kind of giant collage of people. But then in this most recent conference, right, we had the world record event where 220 people were involved, and we don't have enough money to do 220 badges right now, and so there basically we'll have to narrow it down. Now, one way that we could really do like maybe an extra 30% would be if the people who are in the top 100, like, spoke at the most HEX conferences, followed by Real God Whale, all that good kind of stuff. If those people are willing to kick in the amount of money that they're already paying, which at $18 a month is like $200 or $220 a year. If those people are willing to donate that, then we could add kind of an extra like 30% of people, so we could actually get 130 badges out of what would normally fund 100. So I will, and then that would also be a way for people to show that they value, the 2x and the imposter protection and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and then Fiat has also offered to donate a badge, which is super helpful, and I think everybody who's doing that, who's done that, we had a Crypto Coffee donated one to somebody else, and so did Toby one. This is amazing. It really shows how cool our community is and how good we are. Buck would say how good we are at winning, how good we look when we're winning, right? And I guess I am like guessing that this is how it works, that the blue subscription doesn't have to continue. But I could be wrong about that. I haven't actually found anything in the Twitter terms of service that answer the question whether you have to keep paying $18 a month. So I definitely need to get into that detail and see, because we haven't gone through a full billing cycle yet. This has only been live for like a week or something. So, and they have like a weird prorating of like the first one, but only billing you on the second month cycle for this program. So, so Corey's asking, can I cancel my blue checkmark subscription? We have to find out about that. Ideally, you would think that Twitter would know to stop billing, but I haven't found anything explicit that actually says that that's how it works. So we'll get the answer to that before we even really know if we can do 100 or 130 badges with this donation. But Again, thanks to Godwill for making this happen, and to everybody else who forms the basis for the amazing community that so many people want to support, right? Amazing stuff. So stay tuned for more details about this verified program. I think I've explained like really as much as I can here. Elon needs more money. I mean, hey, he's got to run a business, doesn't he? Maybe he'll take HEX more seriously once he sees how many badges we have. And again, like if you meet the criteria, so we're playing by the rules. Otherwise, we can't even make this happen. Now, I can tell you for the Spanish community, we're expanding the HEX conference into multiple languages using AI. And so you might be a really valuable resource for me to distribute content to you. And maybe in future conferences, you're speaking in your native language and we're translating that into English and making it bidirectional there with how the content is being created. I would actually love that. So please, next time you see a thumbnail where it says sign up to be a HEX conference speaker, then you'll know to, follow the instructions on my blog or hexconference.com. Usually has instructions on how to be a speaker. And you can sign up when the time is right. What did the Godwill do? The Godwill donated to get 100 HEX Conference X verified organization badges. At cost, I should say. Incredible. Yes. Thank you for the congratulations. I'm really impressed with Godwill and this community and how we all work together. Thank you, Godwill. This is very exciting news. Thank you to Maddie for making this happen. My pleasure. Why can't I get a badge even if I didn't speak in the conference? Asked and answered, right? The whole point is we have to play by the rules of Twitter. Otherwise, we lose the privilege of pointing out who the real accounts are compared to the 19 clones, right? And then getting the 2x boost in the content. And, just because you don't meet the qualifications now doesn't mean you can't in the future. You could sign up to speak at a future HEX conference and then you could pay your way and boom. I hope this program continues long enough so that everybody can be included. I did look to see what businesses in the world have the most verified badges of all. And it's no surprise. It's Twitter and SpaceX, I believe. They're Elon companies that have the most. They have like 10,000, right? Must be some sort of tax write-off or something. But if you're going to verify people, yeah, why not use your own technology and all that? So, but when we look at cryptos, there was only one that, well, the one with the highest was, let me see here. And I used Grok, which is great. It's another benefit of paying the $18 a month to get the blue check mark or more to get the verified badge if you qualify. Grok, according to Grok, Twitter's AI that you get access to if you're a Premium Plus subscriber, in the crypto space, the organization with the most public affiliates verified on Twitter is currently Polygon with over 100 affiliated accounts. I would love to see us flip Polygon in every metric, not just all the ones we already did. Sami keeps track of those. But I would love to flip them in the number of affiliated accounts that we get. I'll have to go back and ask Grok exactly how many accounts that Polygon has. And what Polygon that sounds like an actual cryptocurrency or an actual network that's run by people. Like, it's not the Polygon conference because they don't have organic people showing up to help them, do they? Compared to what we have. So if you want to count the decentralized organizations that are already at the top of the list, again, Hex is doing things that other people can't or won't or haven't thought of yet. And so we're probably already at the top of the list with 18 because we meet all these criteria of even what is true DeFi, right? I don't think Polygon meets the same criteria that we do to be even in the list of true DeFi. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Polygon, so take that with a grain of salt. Keep crushing it, Maddie. Yeah. Godwell for the win. Thanks, Godwell. See, there's so many people. I mean, this tweet was a banger. I didn't know, because we talked about this on Tuesday. I was saying, I don't think Godwell is interested in doing this because I put it out there and waited a day and didn't hear anything. But after we talked about it on Game Theory Gang, then it was clear by this tweet here, where Godwell says, "Your prayers will be answered. I appreciate all you do for the community, Maddie, and it would be my pleasure to support this great initiative. Let's go for the 27 ETH option to help protect our community. DM me, let's get this taken care of." And the real Godwell's reply got 53,000 impressions, 1.4K likes. That's 1,400 likes and 298 retweets, 280 comments. The community was overflowing with appreciation, optimism, like celebrating the fact that we're doing things differently than the people who are in crypto that came before us, right? This is true DeFi. This is a real community. So cool. So cool that that everybody instantly understood it. And there are haters, sure. My idea of the psychology of communities that are growing is that there will be pains and there will be storming and norming, right? The Crispy Man pointed that out. And it's a great observation about human psychology, because we know that the HEX conference brought so many people together who have a diversity of thoughts and opinions. It united people so much around HEX that then people went off and started fighting with each other to redefine their sub-communities. The RH maximalists, like not the individual streamer himself, but like people who are RH maxis. Tang Gang started a bunch of trouble or something. It's part of their whole point is to be joking and memeing and creating pulp fiction. And so it's hard to tell what is going on there, but it is concerning. The haters are there because they're paying attention because you've brought so many people together. Richard Hart is so smart about crypto that he brought people together who, sure, there's like a percentage of people who are just online trolls to everybody, but it brought even the haters wanted to learn something. They wanted to participate. They wanted to be a part of something bigger. And maybe it's part of it that they agreed with, right? Just like in the HEX community, people believe all sorts of things, but it's the one thing we have in common is HEX. And that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And then these sub-communities form where you have people who like HEX with people who like memes, with people who don't like talking about other things, with people who do like talking about other things, right? But when I zoom out and when I ground myself and when I think about what are we doing here? Why is it special? What does this mean? It means we've brought so many people together that there's going to be some infighting that's painful, because when a group grows, there's always going to be subdivisions, and then the storming and norming that defines how the subgroups are different from each other, right? Some people like dressing up like pirates. Some people like being more professional dressing. Both are welcome. Some people like BitBoy. Some people don't. Everybody's welcome. Now, of course, there's a line that you don't cross when it comes to breaking the rules of the platforms. That's easy. And then, sometimes sub-communities like hexconference.com is a sub-community of Hex. We can make our own rules. We can say online bullying isn't cool. It's okay to joke, but watch it. Watch where you're at with all that. And in the end, what I hope we see, and it's so far so good, is we'll keep growing. And the Bitcoiners, they're 3 cycles ahead of us. They're 4 cycles ahead of us, and they haven't figured it out. But there's a sub community of Bitcoin, of crypto, called Hex, called Richard Hart Win, these different subgroups. And those are the Bitcoiners, such as myself, who have figured out how to play nicely with others. That's one thing I'm committing to this cycle, is I want to do better than I did last cycle at getting along with different groups, people who think differently than I do. And, you could see that in me. So I draw the line at scammers. Tony, who put on the Pulse Con, was a scammer. I didn't want to work with him anymore, and I called him out. I wish I would have called him out more. RG3 is not a scammer. He and a Wild SJ and Dollar Cost Crypto and all these great people that I get along with, they're all putting on events now, which is a great thing. So the more that we can cater, the more that we can accept a variety of people, whether we agree with them or not, if it's okay, if we don't spend all of our energy fighting with them about what it means to be in Hex, we could spend our energy attracting more people to our subgroup. So for an example of, and this is all good Hex therapy stuff, right? Like, this is the point of Hex therapy, is to point out things and try to make make life easier for crypto people. What it might look like if people are doing what I'm doing, which is to try to be more inclusive than last cycle, or trying to spend more of my energy focused on attracting people into the space versus telling people they can't be in they can't play in our playgrounds. They can't believe what they want. One example is, if you only like Richard Hart coins, then how cool is it that you have a choice where going forward you can decide how you're going to highlight that and make that special, and make other people who have a narrower view of crypto, who, to attract more of them from other spaces, right? How cool is that you have that belief, and there's a world of people out there that have that belief, and you could bring them into Hex. You could bring them into Richard Hart coins, and you could use your energy that way instead of only, and like the storming and norming, like you can't stop it. It's also okay to fight with people in the community respectfully and in a way that doesn't use bullying or discrimination. You can also have great debates. You can have great showdowns and stuff with people to define your values and to represent both sides of people who like HEX and other things, or people who like HEX and only like HEX or only like RH coins. But it's whenever you make it unattractive for people to join who could have a similar belief as you, but they see you treating others poorly and they don't want to be in that category, right? So the category of like plays well with others has always been helpful to me in this diverse community. And that's what's so cool about being in DeFi is we all get to define our boundaries for ourselves and see who wants to follow along and who wants to represent the same things we believe in. So it's good stuff. I hope that I didn't like bring that around too far, like full circle, so that it kind of lost its meaning. What I'm saying is there's a way to represent your subculture of HEX without totally wrecking all the other subcultures. Yeah, go team. Cool. So I'm just looking back through the comments here. If you want to learn more about like what the Twitter rules are for crypto and all that good kind of stuff, you can see my blog post at hexbadge.com. Some of the rationale that I've talked about verbally today. So that's already there. I think the RH ecosystem is up today. It's up daily. I think it's up monthly and we're looking good. So that's great. We got HEX. EHEX is almost 9/10 of a penny. PHEX is 1.6 cents. Pulse is 3 zeros and a 1 2. PulseX is 4 zeros and a 5. You even got E-hedron and P-hedron there on the screen. Does Helgo have a verified tag? I don't know. Great question. We got people tuning in from Twitter itself. Count on me, says Rolando Cryptos. Is this still a subscription model for new badges? My bad for the ignorance. Is this so? Franklin, shout out to you. Good to see you here. So what you're seeing on hexbadge.com, if I'm understanding the question, is you're seeing without accounting for the 100 free badges or reduced cost badges that are due to like Godwell. And so as I've just described in the stream here verbally, and now I can be even more clear about it, I will update that blog post based on what I find in my analysis of how many people we actually have who have spoken at multiple conferences, who have been followed by Godwell. And then I'll have to make a decision about what we have to find out too about whether your $18 a month that you pay for the blue check, whether that continues to be charged to you if you're a part of a verified organization badge or not. The way that the features work, you would think that they wouldn't be charging you that going forward, but we'll have to see. So I don't think you're ignorant on this. I think the decision hasn't been finally made yet. So far in this stream, I'm being transparent that the donation has been made, that the deal is for 100 badges to be supported. And we'll take it from there to see if people want to pitch in what they would already be paying to Twitter as a way to narrow down who's serious about this, so that we could get 130 badges instead of just 100, basically. I'm not monetizing this at all. This is herding cats purely for the benefit of the community. Maddie's the best. Thanks. I am always trying to find ways to give back because the ROI in the end is so high to be able to say, we did it. Like we get bragging rights over here, right? We had the most YouTubers on one screen, not even just in crypto, in all of YouTube. So yeah, it's I get a lot of personal satisfaction out of giving to this community because we rock. I'm having trouble, says Jim, onboarding new people to Pulse Chain with MetaMask as it won't let me add network. I know when you're guiding somebody who's new through adding a Pulse Chain, if somebody's using a phone, I think on desktop there's an add network button that you just click and it puts in all the information about the RPC settings. But here, if you're on your phone, then you have to manually insert those. And I just did that for somebody this past weekend, and that was annoying. But so if we go to like pulsechain.com and then see, well, no, that's for, maybe it already knows I'm connected to Pulse. Okay, but here are the settings that you type into MetaMask. And like, depending on if they updated their MetaMask, then there's like a different place to input it because they changed all the menus a while back. So yeah, you would actually type all this in if somebody's on a phone. I don't know if there's some other issue that you're running into with adding the network, but that would be my guess. So do it on a computer or like manually type it in. And you have to type in like exactly as you see here. Like you have to type the HTTPS : / all that. Now this, the Block Explorer, I would use this, but if you're an advanced user, you could type in a different Block Explorer because there are 3 or 4. Like scan.pulsechain.com is an alternative. But again, you'd put the HTTPS : / No one has to know I didn't speak at the conference. Well, it seems like that would be a matter of public public record, so I wouldn't want to. I think there has to be some integrity to the definition. You know, I've already run into edge cases where, I can make a rationale. If you're somebody who is like getting monetized on Twitter because you have so much, because you're making so many posts and there's however many people you need. I'm not even at that level, I don't think. Although now that I have a 2x boost, I might be. If you're somebody who's really already getting out there, then do let me know. I might be able to schedule you for a future conference or feature you somehow. If you're going to be getting us millions of impressions, then that would be an alternative that could be considered while still maintaining the integrity of the definition. If you don't have that, then now is the best time to start. Because I will hope to include you in future conferences and then include you in future badges. So Godwill just keeps crushing it. That's right. Any updates from Guinness? I have actually not finished going through all the data to submit to them. It's a lot because we have to have an airtight case. And I collected a lot of data, to preempt, because, it's like $10,000 or more. It's like tens of thousands of dollars if you want to like do a media stunt with Guinness Book of World Records. Like they can come to your company's, pitiful like company event and then like give you free marketing. But we don't have to pay Guinness for marketing, I don't believe, because we have so much organic reach. And that's why they have another mechanism where you pay like $10, you submit all your proof, and then they tell you whether you qualify or not after like 10 or 12 weeks. So that's probably one reason why I've been a little bit slow at getting the data together. It's because I've seen these other opportunities where, boom, immediately 100 people can double their reach on Twitter going into a bull market. That takes a slightly higher priority than we get bragging rights. And then the Guinness Book of World Records want like a fee every time we show our certificate with their logo on it. So, crypto is meant to be decentralized, and that's the future where like AI can index this stuff and tell you, and that everybody in the future generations, they might find out stuff from AI and from the truth being published and verifiable online, not a centralized organization like Guinness that charges way too much. But I still like them. I think it's cool. I think we'll still apply for it, but it's slightly lower on the priority list than like getting the word out that, hey, we're here, like we're here. We have a great community. All these organic content creators are able to get the word out about HEX and Pulse Chain. But you might imagine 3 or 4 months from now, like when crypto's looking really good, we might be able to brag using the brand name of Guinness instead of just bragging. Show me what YouTube group or what crypto has more streamers than we do on one screen or at all. All right. Family members fight. It happens. Growing pains. What's up, Clintrons? Maddie, wonderfully based. Thanks. I think we are the crypto community of AI is a great narrative. Yeah, so many AI cryptos, they've only said that in their marketing, but they didn't prove anything. We're out here proving it. That's why you're Maddie. I can't get along with other groups. I just like my group. There you go. What do you think about giving Pulse Chain award for the most free speech person of the year? Boom. I'm not sure how that would be measured, but anybody can give out awards. So maybe that'll be your project that you create for the community. That was on point, Maddie. Thanks. Wealthy. I always like that name. It's like wealthy, but also well. The PulseX button adds Pulse Chain to MetaMask. Cool. Good to know. That's on desktop. Now on the phone, I don't think that button exists. I could be wrong. I hope it does in the future. Thanks for the price updates, Melf Tony. Yeah, on a short time frame, we want these cryptos to be volatile. You'd imagine some people like that, like traders, but yeah, I'm impressed that the numbers are, it seems to be decorrelated. Those crypto bubbles, I don't watch them too close, but whenever I do catch a few clips of crypto banter or Ivan on Tech, they're standing out, right? And that might be by design, intention of the market itself, by the OA and the Godwill, or anybody who's a part of the system. People might not be selling when other cryptos going down. People might be buying more when other cryptos are, to help these assets stand out. It's great. Green candles are the best form of marketing because it reaches the most people, and with DEXs, it proves what the price is. What's up, Hex Monkey? I see people talking to each other. What's the most superior block explorer for PLS, or the one that's most used? Well, the Pulse, for Pulse. The one that's listed here on pulsechain.com is otter.pulsechain.com. Another one I know of is scan.pulsechain.com. Another one I know of is scan.9mm dot something. .pro, scan.9mm.pro. And then there was even I don't know if it's a newer one, but it's like something that got forked over from Ethereum, I think, or like just worked out of the box or something. I didn't know about this one. I didn't know about beacon.pulsechain.com/address. How cool is that? This is what it looks like. See, it's giving the wrong currency. It's saying Ether, but I don't have 400,000 Ether in my account. This is the Hex badge account, and it's this is the amount of pulse, right? So it's like 500,000 pulse to just do transactions, but under the token tab, it shows you USDC in there and that sort of thing. But this is, and then you've got these transactions you can inspect in a way that comes up nicer than we see in some of the other block explorers. So if you're out there wishing that you could do more chain analysis and you didn't know about this tool to use, beacon.pulsechain.com, go nuts. Hex Monkey, what's up? Hex Farmer, what's up? David Morales, what's up? Number of Pulse Chain validators worldwide, instances that are running 52,000 now. Is it possible for a founder to walk away from his project by giving it to AI? I don't know. Works on iPhone. Hey, that's great. That's the adding the network button there. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Bitcoin, it's $43,000 today. Ethereum, $2,300. All right. Well, Unplugged Dad, his battery's dying, and Tarnwig's here. Good to see you all. The T-share rate, it's almost 32K hex per T-share. And rising every day, isn't it? So there you go, folks. I hope that this was helpful. Look, there are tons of other content creators here in Hex and Pulse Chain. You may have seen them in the Hex conference or the pulsechainconference.com. They're out there on YouTube, on Twitter, on all these platforms. Shout out to everybody who's making content. Shout out to everybody who's out there liking and retweeting this stream on X. Even if you're watching on YouTube, when you come across when you come across it, you're getting the word out. Sure, a lot of people that are already in our community are seeing it when you like it and share it, but there's 10%. And I know that there's 10% of people, of new people who are seeing it, or people who aren't convinced yet, because when I do a poll and I'm giving Bitcoin or Ethereum as an option, there are people picking that. So there are hundreds of people who get to join us because they want to win, or because they like what we're fighting for and what we're standing for. So thank you guys for doing that. The more you do that, the more people are going to be attracted to come and join us and hopefully win with us is the goal. Hey, you know what? I feel like I'm wrapping up the show, but there was one other bit of news that I would have missed if it wasn't for what Buck was tweeting. This is from Richard Hart Wynn. And he tweeted something, and I looked at it, I read it. I didn't study the screenshot, though. So I looked at this, and it's from Richard from today. It's got like 87,000 views. It says, it looks like a lot of people are using liquidloans.io. PulseX is looking good. Stats from gopulse.com. And he's tagging Ethereum people. Come look at how much we're winning. And there's this, I don't even have it on my screen. That would help. So this tweet from Richard, and lo and behold, Buck was saying in his analysis, look at all the protocols in the screenshot there. Look at how cool it is that, and Sami said this, that the founder of HEX, the founder of PulseChain, Richard Hart, he's doing what worked for Vitalik. Vitalik shouted out protocols that were doing a good job, like Uniswap, like ENS domains. And lo and behold, on second glance, I see Time Pays Me is on the board. Of course, that's a protocol that myself and two very talented developers have launched back on July 4th. Pretty cool. Launched on PulseChain and Ethereum, a way for people to time lock any ERC or PRC20 token. You can drip it back to yourself. You can undo a hack by ahead of time setting up a second seed phrase to fall back on. And just a beautiful thing to be able to pay your future self. And bless their hearts, over at gopulse.com, they've made a leaderboard. The way you get to this is you go to gopulse.com/locked, and you can see all the protocols where Pulse is locked. And right now, there's $353 million worth of Pulse that's been locked. That's 2.8 trillion tokens. The number one on the leaderboard is Validators. They've locked $210 million. Liquid Loans, they've locked $133 million. The Pulse Chain Bridge protocol has locked 1.2 million. Fiat has locked 2.9 million. And wouldn't you know, Time Pays Me is sitting there at about 500,000 just on Pulse. There's also been, I would say, about 500,000 or more of communist token locked there. And of course, a good amount of PulseX and tons of other things. So, hey, shout out to timepays.me. There's actually a lot of really cool things that we're thinking about doing for Time Pays Me. Some new things that'll be coming out. I'm really excited about. Can't speak about it yet, but don't worry, it's not a token. It's not a sacrifice. But these are things that might make it way more socially rewarding to be paying your future self, or to be using the the third feature of Time Pays Me, other than time locking tokens and undoing a hack if you have it set up. The third feature is self-payment for self-improvement. And that's the crypto contingency management stuff that you guys have heard me talk about for years. It was always my dream to build something like this in crypto. And it's true. I paid myself a lot of money to write the first chapter of a book about Time Pays Me. And that's just one example. You could pay yourself to quit drugs, to eat right, to exercise, and you can do it without a middleman involved. It's so cool. So we got some cool ways for people to show off what they're doing with Time Pays Me. If you choose, there's a lot of ways to, keep it between you and the blockchain, really. But I think there are going to be people who want to create sub-communities or to bring in people who are not in crypto yet, who can experience this idea that crypto can be more than just getting rich. With money, you could be improving yourself. Self-payment for self-improvement. So Time Pays Me, it might be fourth on the list today. Fifth, actually. It might be fifth on the list today. Who knows? Maybe, maybe someday in the future, it will be top of the list. That'd be cool. But even where it's at now, what it's telling me is that this is useful for some people, including myself. So how cool is that? And how much cooler will it be once we get to see the future iterations of the front end of and of kind of how people can interact with this immutable contract? Very cool. So yeah, thanks so much everybody for being here. I hope that you got some value out of this episode. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment if you're in the replay gang. And until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HEX Therapy Live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. Does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like he helps heal people.